don't even know if I'm all the way in the shot. I kind of don't care because I'm so excited to share this idea with you that I don't even give a fuck. It's finally happening, and it's happening in a way that I can actually touch it. I can actually taste it. I can actually feel it. It's true. The archetypes are evolving. Now, Rob Bresney has been talking about this a long time, that archetypes are living energies, that they evolve right along with us. I was listening to this talk about Egyptian astrology, and this woman was saying that if you think about the archetypes of Greek myths, they're actually the archetypes of our wounding. And she was saying we have to go back to Egypt to find this more whole time in our consciousness. That those Egyptian archetypes represent a more unified field of our consciousness. I think that's all well and good, and like, fuck yes, let's also go back to Egypt. And at the same time, right here, the archetypes that have been pulled apart by trauma and pain are once again weaving themselves together. And they've been weaving themselves together for a long time, but now they're finally ready to be born as newly woven, newly unified creatures. Yes, I can feel them. This whole arcana of archetypes is peeking their head out from behind the curtain. These archetypes of our reunification are finally ready to be born. And maybe we can imagine the first of these, really simple, is an archetype of someone who has unified their masculine and feminine sides. So they can play masculine, they can play feminine, they can play trickster. And the archetypal wholeness of them is unified. We can play this game all through polarity. I see an archetype that's able to travel abroad and be rooted at home. Simultaneously, the trinity of being the full spectrum from polarity to polarity and everything in between, they can live at every gradient of that register. Any polarity you can think of, instead of only being able to occupy one pole at a time, we're able to occupy both and the full spectrum in between. And this whole parade of archetypes that wants to come through, I want to learn how to embody those. I want to learn how to be a traveler and to be rooted at home all the time. I want to hold that polarity dance within me. It's like we did it. It's like we won. And heaven is all the way here on earth. And earth is all the way up in heaven. And here we are in 5D. And how do you live in 5D? What happens now that we're going to wake up the next day and the next day? And what happens to polarity in 5D? Because for me, it doesn't go away. We're still dancing this dance, playing this game. Polarity doesn't disappear. It just becomes more complex. Now that every relationship that we have is actually fourfold. That instead of me just being a woman in a relationship with a man, I also have my internal lesbian that's in relationship with his internal lesbian. I have my internal gay man that's with his internal gay man. And I have my internal masculine that's in relationship with his internal feminine. So now all of our relationships are actually fourfold. And all points of this more complex geometry are engaged and in flux at any given time. This is what it means to ratchet up in evolutionary consciousness, because we need to be at the level where we can play this game, tend to all of these new dynamics that are unfolding. If I got my internal masculine and my internal feminine and my points in between, and you have yours, then together we make a star tetrahedron, and it's an entirely different holographic dance we be dancing when we make love. Gosh, I don't even know who my internal gay man is. But I know my internal lesbian's been into andros from the beginning. Hooty hoo! I have tasted the fruit of the tree of the threefold archetypes, of the fourfold path of relationships, of ping-pong polarity resonance. I have felt up the fourfold Brazilian gay man of my internal nuclei in the hallway of my own consciousness, and it was good.